When you're working on email, do you find yourself scrambling around and not knowing what to process first? And maybe you spend hours working on email and you don't know where the time went. In this video number 8 in our series of 10 on clearing your email, I'll teach you how to efficiently work on your email today on Tuesday Tech Training. Hello, and welcome to today's Tuesday Tech Training. My name is Jennifer Stewart. I'm the owner of Gateway Productivity, and I'm a tech and productivity trainer. This is video 8 in our series of 10 on clearing your email, and today is all about working efficiently on your email. We'll specifically focus on a tool that is adapted from David Allen's book, Getting Things Done. If you find that you like the information from today and are interested in the whole methodology around getting things done, GTD for short, you can go to gettingthingsdone.com to learn more. This video builds on our previous one, video number 7, which was about setting email timeframes and then using a timer during those timeframes. What we'll talk about today is how to efficiently work on your email during those timeframes. The tool that I'm going to show you assumes that you have those timeframes in place, that you have a specific amount of time that you plan to work on email. Let's look at that tool now. David Allen likes to talk about the 4 Ds, and he uses it for a lot of things, mainly for paper and processing your inbox. And we're going to do exactly the same thing, just regarding your email inbox. I call this a tool because it is a list of the 4 things that you want to think about as you're processing your email or working on your email. You can use it as a tool by printing something out, having a checklist, something like that to help keep you on track with email if you're someone who tends to get buried in the flood of emails that you have going on. It can be very helpful to have something tactile to check off as you're going through email. The key thing to think about as we go through this list is the idea of not having to read through an email multiple times to figure out each time what needs to happen with it. We always want to look at an email and put it to the next step in the process. It's kind of like the idea of not touching a piece of paper more than once, except instead of thinking about, well, you're going to have to get into the email multiple times, and that's fine, but let's get it to the next step in your process, in your to-do process, task process, whatever that looks like for you. So the first step is if it's something short, and that's usually less than 5 minutes. Let's say you are working on email for 30 minutes. And again, refer back to video number 7 if you need help figuring out how to set your email timeframes to work on each day. But let's say you're working for 30 minutes on email. If there's something that's going to take you less than 5 minutes to do, go ahead and do it. And in a 30-minute time frame, you might even want to lessen that to 2 or 3 minutes. If it's going to take you a short amount of time, go ahead and do it. Go ahead and process that email, file it wherever it needs to go, or just leave it if that's how you work in your inbox. The next option, if you come across an email that's going to take you more time than really is feasible right now during your 30-minute, 45-minute, 1-hour time frame, it's going to take you half that time, now is probably not the best time to process this email. Rather than skipping it and assuming you'll come back to it later, you need to put it in the next part of your process, your to-do process, whether that is flagging it or starring it. And you can find information about how to do that in video number 6. You can do those things, or you can put it into your task manager or whatever that next step looks like for you. The key here is move it forward. Don't just let it sit, move it forward so that you will remember to come back and do it at an appropriate time. This may even look like scheduling it on your calendar to come back and process that specific email. Everybody's system is different, and that's perfectly fine. This next option is not something that all of us have available to us, but we do want to include it for those who can, and that's delegating it. If you come to an email and it's not a good use of your time, but it is necessary, needs to be done, needs to be responded to, maybe you have an assistant or a virtual assistant who can process that email for you. A great way that this can help someone who doesn't have an assistant is if you start to notice that there are a lot of emails that are this way for you. There's something that you feel like you're spending your time processing these emails and it's not a good use of your time. It might be time for you to consider getting a virtual assistant if possible. If it's not possible for you to get any kind of assistant, then maybe you need to start to batch those into a group and have a way of marking them and come back to them and process them all at once. The last D is often something that is hard for a lot of people, and that is deleting it. Delete that email. This is an email that doesn't help in any way. You're not going to refer back to it. It's maybe just a thank you, something like that that doesn't need to be tracked. Often this can be ads and newsletters and social media emails and things like that. This step may take a little bit of a thought process before you go to process your email the next time. And that's thinking about what types of things do I need to keep? What types of things can I let go of? Even if you're someone who keeps everything in the inbox and chooses to use the search or flags or stars or something like that, you still want to consider what could I delete, because every email program does eventually have a limit that you may hit. So the more of the things that are fluff that you don't need that you can delete, the better. So next time you start working on email, go ahead and have these 4 options in front of you. And that can help guide you, especially when you set a timer, to make these decisions faster. You're either going to do it if it's quick, you're going to defer it, which means putting it to the next step of the process, you're going to delegate it if possible, or you're going to delete it. And those are your options. So it makes it a lot quicker and easier to make some decisions. And it gives you some parameters to work through instead of having to wonder what you're going to do. Where am I going to put this so I don't forget about it? Go ahead and have that process set up in the first place before you even begin working on your email. As I said at the beginning of the video, this tool is the most impactful if you can have the email timeframe set up in advance and also know what your to-do or task process is so that you know what you need to do with an email or a reminder about an email if there's something that you need to come back to. As you start to use this tool or process, as you're working on your email, you'll find that it becomes inherent to you. It'll become a habit and you will no longer need to keep the steps in front of you. And that's when you'll feel much more efficient about processing email. Have you had a light bulb moment from this training? If so, please let me know in the comments below. You can also put questions there and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. You can also give the video a thumbs up, or you could share it with someone you think could benefit from the information. And be sure to subscribe by clicking the red button below. Once you do that, you'll see a bell icon. If you click the bell icon, that will give you notifications each time a new video is posted. And if you're following along with this entire email clearing series, then you'll want to make sure you click that bell icon. Thanks for joining me, and I'll see you next time.